Has your loved one just been diagnosed with dementia and you've gone into the Facebook groups and read all the horror stories and you're a little bit freaked out, or your loved one just has dementia in general and you want to know some of the common challenging behaviors? In this video, I'm going to share with you the top 4 most common challenging behaviors that I've seen in my position in activity therapy at a psychiatric hospital for dementia people, where all we see is challenging behaviors. This will give you a clear understanding of the common behaviors and exactly what to do. Welcome to Dementia Success Path. This is the place where I share some common challenging behaviors and the things to say and the activities to do that make it easier so that you can find success on your path as a caregiver. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to click the subscribe button. And also, while you're at it, hit the like button and notification button so that you don't miss a video ever again. Okay, so sundowning is the phenomenon where dementia symptoms increase throughout the day. In my experience, I've seen it start around 1 or around after lunch and go into the night. This is going to differ for every person, but this is what I've seen the most often. Now, the symptoms that can get worse can include pacing, wandering, agitation, yelling, crying, just overall, whatever dementia symptom your loved one may be having, it will increase as the day goes on with sundowning. Now, what you can do to help sundowning is prevention. That's the first thing that you want to try before your loved one gets super worked up. And what I'll do in order to prevent is I first look for patterns. I figure out, okay, when does their symptoms start to increase? And like I said, usually around right after lunch is when you'll start to see it, or at least when I've seen it. So what I'll do is I'll take them outside and I will give them kind of a mindless activity to do with their hands. Sundowning tends to come with a lot of restlessness, a lot of anxiety and energy going on. So giving them something purposeful to do with their hands that doesn't take a lot of concentration tends to be something that prevents sundowning. However, if sundowning is upon you and your loved one is really agitated or wandering or pacing, getting them engaged in an activity that they enjoy, preferably one where they are getting physically engaged with you or doing something that was part of their routine when they were younger, maybe something having to do with their job. All these things are going to help kind of calm them down, simmer them down, so that you don't end up with a huge argument or a huge scene that you're dealing with later. If there is a universal thing, it is the phrase, "I want to go home." Now, what trips up a lot of new caregivers is that they think home is a physical place. And what's even more maddening is if your mom is living in the house that she lived in for 30 years and she says, "I want to go home," it's easy to respond with, "But you are home." But in reality, "I want to go home" actually means that they are looking for one of 3 things: comfort, safety, or familiarity. So how you figure this out is you ask the phrase, "What is at home that you need?" For some people, it can lead to you figuring out that they're in pain or they're physically uncomfortable or that they just need some emotional comfort. It could lead you down a path where you realize they feel unsafe or threatened by somebody and they want you to make them feel safe again. Or they're just looking for something familiar that you may or may not be able to fulfill in the real world. For example, one of my clients was insisting that she had a 3-year-old at home that she needed to get back to, which at 90 years old clearly wasn't the case. But what did comfort her is knowing that whatever she needed taken care of was going to be taken care of. In this instance, especially, trying to show evidence or trying to convince them that their reality is not real is pointless. It just won't work. You will just argue with them for hours. What I like to do is I like to be in the reality as much as I possibly can physically do. And at the end of the day, if being honest is something that you and your loved one value, you can do that. You can acknowledge their feelings and redirect them. But in my experience, it's much faster and easier to just say, "Hey, your husband's watching him while you're at the doctor's office," or something along those lines. tends to work better. You get them engaged in something else, and the moment is over, at least for now. Accusations are something that usually happens as a response to feeling scared and confused. Oftentimes, anger is an emotion that helps mask maybe something deeper, like fear or confusion. So a good example of this is, let's just say your mom is really terrified of someone stealing her money from her. So she decides to hide it under her pillow, and of course, she forgets she hid it under her pillow. So you walk by as she's searching for it, and unlucky for you, you have become the target. She is convinced that you took her stuff, her fear is confirmed in her mind, and it's on at this point. What a lot of people will try to do in the face of this is they will try to argue for their innocence and defend themselves, and I'll tell you what, this almost never works. As frustrating as it is, you aren't going to be able to logic your way out of this. You're not going to be able to show evidence and get out of this like you would normally in the real world. Again, to them, this is their reality. This is real for them. And the quicker path to getting them calm and not angry is first acknowledging their feelings underneath the anger and the accusation. Saying something like, "Mom, I understand that it's really scary to lose your money. Is there anything I can do to help you? Because I'm not sure where it went, but I'm happy to help." If they're still angry at you and you are still the target, it is best just to give them some space to kind of decompress, to calm down a little bit before you again offer some help. Oftentimes when you're the target, it's just not going to fly. You're just going to continue to argue. At the end of the day, the person with dementia, they just want whatever item they have to be found. They just don't want to feel scared anymore at the end of the day. So if I were you, I would first offer to help and acknowledge their feelings. And if that doesn't work, be sure to give them some space and come back and rinse and repeat. Refusals are when your loved one with dementia is refusing things that they would have ordinarily done before dementia. So this could be things like eating meals, taking baths, things of that nature. And the reasons for refusing could be very different for different people. It could be rooted in something physical, like there's pain that they're struggling to communicate. There's maybe the feeling of something that feels different to them because your brain chemistry changes when you have dementia and you perceive things very differently than when you don't have dementia. It could be that, or it could just be that they want control, they want independence, they don't remember that they haven't done the things and they just genuinely believe that they have already. So the first way to approach this is first ask why they're refusing in the simplest way you possibly can. Like, for example, if mom isn't wanting to shower, just say, "Mom, what's going on with the shower? Why don't you want to shower?" And depending on what she says, you can either adjust what you're doing to fit her needs. Like if the water's too hot or too cold, the water hurts her skin, she's terrified of slipping. Those are all adjustments you can make. If she just truly believes that she's already showered before, the second move I would make is to offer choices. Oftentimes, folks will just refuse because they're just tired of being told what to do all the time. So just saying, "Hey mom, it's totally fine if you don't want to take a shower right now. Why don't we try again in like the next hour," or something like that. Usually that helps give them a little bit of sense of control again, maybe give them a chance to calm down a little bit and try again new. And the last one is call their doctor. There could be a physical need or something else that might be there that maybe a medical professional can help catch. So whenever you're in doubt, it never hurts to get them physically checked out. If you want a quick and go grab guide to what I've just taught you in this video, I have the 4 common dementia behaviors cheat sheet linked in the bio that you can get, as well as join our Facebook community. We would love to have you. It's an awesome space, an awesome community where we talk about this type of stuff, so we'd love to have you there. And with all that being said, thank you for joining us, and I will see you in the next one.